Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from DDTech and this is the camera comparison between the Realme 1 and the Asus Zenfone Max Pro M1. You know, every time I say that name, it feels so long. Anyway, these are the specs. Asus M1 sports a dual camera setup with a 13 megapixel primary camera with f2.2 aperture and a 5 megapixel secondary camera with f2.4 aperture. On the front, it has an 8 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture and a dedicated soft LED flash. On the rear, Realme 1 sports a single 13 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture and single LED flash. On the front, it is an 8 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture. Now, these are some shots taken in daylight and well-lit conditions. Realme 1 supports Auto HDR and Asus doesn't. So all these pictures were taken with Auto HDR mode on Realme 1 and HDR mode on the Asus M1. While taking HDR images, capturing speeds on Realme are fast. On Asus, it was slow. It takes like a second or two and you have to hold your hand steadily all that time. Now coming to the picture quality, HDR images from Asus look good, they have better sharpness and carry more details, but you need to have some knowledge, time and patience to take those better looking shots, as you need to manually turn on the HDR mode. On Realme 1, because of Auto HDR, everything is automatic. Now in HDR mode, Asus definitely takes better pictures, but for a normal user who takes pictures in auto mode, Realme 1 will deliver better results than Asus. Now these are some more pictures taken without HDR mode on Asus and Auto HDR on Realme 1. Now capturing speeds are good on both phones. Images from Realme 1 are a tad bit overexposed, colors are to the warmer side and a little bit saturated, but on the whole look more pleasing. On Asus, colors are close to accurate colors, but when dynamic range is involved, you get a faded effect. Because of Auto HDR, Realme 1 sometimes does a better job but lacks sharpness. On the whole, rear cameras are good on both phones. If you are a photography enthusiast, Asus will be better. If you are like me who takes pictures most of the time in auto mode, Realme 1 will be better. Now coming to portrait mode, both phones offer this feature. Edge detection obviously works better on Asus because of the dual camera setup. On the whole, for portrait shots, Asus does a better job with color reproduction, exposure control, edge detection, and so on. Now coming to the low light indoor performance, both phones are closely matched, with Asus performing slightly better, but once again, capturing speeds are slightly slow on Asus. In outdoor lighting conditions, most of the time, Realme 1 does a better job, but Asus has better exposure control. Now coming to selfies, once again Realme 1 supports Auto HDR while Honor doesn't. So all these selfies were taken in Auto HDR mode on Realme 1 and without HDR on Asus. All these selfies were taken in pretty bad lighting conditions. Selfies from Realme look much cleaner, have more details, better colors and better dynamic range. Now coming to portrait selfies, unlike other phones, we can use Auto HDR even while taking portrait selfies on the Realme 1. So you get slightly better dynamic range. Now these are some selfies taken in low lighting conditions. Once again, Realme 1 does a way better job. So on the whole, for selfies, Realme 1 is better, but for the most part, it's because of Auto HDR and Asus simply performed badly. Now coming to video recording, here's the sample footage. So guys, this is the sample footage recorded using the Realme 1 and the Asus M1. On the left side, I have the Realme 1 and on the right side, I have the Asus M1. And the audio is from the phone themselves, so you can check out the noise cancellation and stabilization offered by both phones. Now I'm just gonna walk around. You just check out the stabilization, color reproduction and dynamic range offered by both phones. For rear camera video recording, footage quality looks good on Asus. Footage on Realme looks a bit overexposed. On Asus, we can record video at 4K resolution. On Realme 1, we can only record video at 1080p. Both phones lack stabilization, so the footage is shaky on both phones. So guys, this is a sample footage recorded using the Realme 1 and the Asus M1. I have the Realme 1 on the left side and the Asus M1 on the right side. And I'm currently recording this video at 1080p resolution. Audio is from the phone itself, so check out the noise cancellation and stabilization offered by both phones. Now I'm just gonna move around, just check out the dynamic range, color production and exposure shift on both phones. Now coming to front camera video recording, footage on Asus is simply bad, and it is way better on the Realme 1. So guys, to conclude, on the whole in the camera department, except for the rear camera portrait shots, Realme 1 is better at everything else. So guys, looking at the sample pictures and the sample footage, which phone do you think did better? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you are planning to buy either of these phones, use the link in the description. It really helps the channel, and if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I am Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.